Welcome to the Flix Capacitor Podcast.
Oh, that was so wonderful. That was great. Oh, man.
Well, was that a Diet Coke?
Yeah, I got the DC today.
I love that video. It's like, yo, what up, guys? Just enjoying a crisp Diet Cock. I mean, Diet Cock. I mean, Diet Cock. I mean, Diet Cock. I mean, Diet Cock.
What is that video? I've never heard of that before.
It's a TikTok video. I'll try to find it. I guarantee you it's not even there anymore. I guarantee you TikTok took it down because TikTok doesn't have a good sense of humor. But
literally, speaking of videos that nobody can find, have you ever seen the Marty McFly Williams video?
Yeah, where he bombs the Master Hill and then he face plants.
Dude, I found one years ago where when he face plants, he disappears and the road catches on fire like Back to the Future, and the Back to the Future theme plays. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. And I can't find it anywhere. It's so good, though.
I love that.
And speaking of TikTok taking videos down, I exposed that racist guy and TikTok took it down and I can't post for a week.
That's so crazy that TikTok will punish you for calling out someone that's racist, but then that guy can still just go off and be racist.
Yeah, his videos are fine. And they're also like 12-year-olds twerking, but it's fine. You know, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, but the moment that you say, hey, what this guy does isn't very cool, TikTok is like, well, I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? You want to see what we do about that? Oh, man. Hi, guys. How are you? I feel like we haven't recorded in so long. But we did it like less than a week ago. No, it's a little over a week ago. It was a little over a week ago.
I do agree. It does kind of feel like it's been a while, but we're back. What up? We got a very special episode. This is the second time we've done an episode like this. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, Parker, you don't have any movie news, do you? You didn't say. You said you didn't have much movie news.
I don't. Dude, I thought I saw something. Oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once has become the best reviewed movie on Letterboxd of last year. So that was kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also, speaking of Everything Everywhere All at Once,
did you watch it yet?
No, but I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's go fuck myself.
I apologize in advance for butchering his name. Key.
How
do you say it?
I think.
Okay.
Hold on. Attempt to say it, and then I'm gonna remember.
Ki Hoi Kwan.
Yeah, Ki Hoi Kwan. I think that's how you say it. That's
okay, Ki Hoi Kwan. Or Short Round from Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. Data from the Goonies. The point is he won Best Actor, like Best Supporting Actor at the Golden Globes.
Yes, and Brendan Fraser won Best Actor, right? For The Whale at the Golden Globes?
Not at the Golden Globes. He won it, I think, at like the BAFTA Awards, but
that's right.
But
who won? Oh, Austin Butler won Golden Globes.
Austin Butler for Elvis. Yep, Austin Butler won it for Elvis. But just want to give a big shout out to Ki Hoi Kwan. Because he is making a serious comeback, just like Brendan Fraser. Honestly, they're both making awesome comebacks. But his I'm so sorry,
Mr. DeQuan.
Ki Hoi Kwan's. His speech was very, very emotional, very heartwarming. It was really, really, really special seeing him give that speech and give that shout out to Spielberg.
Oh my gosh.
It was just
yes, dude.
It was a very magical moment. It was especially for people like me who grew up watching Temple of Doom and the Goonies. You know, it was just very special to see that he's doing so well right now.
And you see he's going to be in Loki season 2?
He's going to be in Loki season 2, which was so funny that Tom Hiddleston was more excited about it than he was. Tom Hiddleston was like, I can't believe I'm working with Data.
Yeah,
Short Round.
Dude, he was actually a stunt, an uncredited stunt, stunt
X-Men?
something In X-Men, yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. It's wild. Did you see what Brendan Fraser said when he won Best Actor at whatever? Did you see what he said?
Yes, but I do not remember at the top of my
He was
head.
like, "Where were you guys for Furry Vengeance?" Do you remember
That's
that movie?
right. That's right. Yes, I do remember that movie. That was the last time I saw him.
Yeah. Well, okay. Was it that or was it Looney Tunes Back in Action? Because those were, I think, around.
No, it was
Looney Tunes was earlier.
Looney
I think.
Tunes way before. Yeah, because
Yeah, 'cause he was
I think
pretty
he
young
did
in that
another
one.
mummy. He did another mummy movie after Looney Tunes. There's three mummy movies that he did.
Yeah, Furry Vengeance was probably one of his last movies because he did Journey to the Center of the Earth, and that was
Before.
8, something like that.
Yeah,
good one.
and then he was also in Doom Patrol. I guess Doom Patrol was his first time really coming back, but no one really noticed because he was just a voice.
Oh, the show. I for some reason I thought you were talking about Doom, like the Rock video game adaptation movie.
No.
I was like, what?
Doom Patrol, the DC show on
Yes.
HBO Max. He was like the voice of the robot, and so no one really cared.
Yeah. Oh, just the voice. I
but
thought
he's back.
I didn't know if he did anything physical.
He might have been the performer as well. I just know that he was the voice. I never watched the show. I just know that he was in it. But speaking of shows,
Wait. Sucks that he
What?
was going to be in the Batgirl movie and then not anymore.
yeah, he was the only reason I was going to watch that movie.
Not Michael
and Michael
Keaton?
Keaton.
Okay, all right.
I said and Michael Keaton.
All right, okay, all right. I was kind of
But
excited
since
for that movie.
But since we were already getting Michael Keaton in The Flash, I wasn't as excited as I was to see Brendan Fraser. But speaking of shows, I guess this is a quick review because last night I watched the first episode of The Last of Us, and holy shit,
That good?
was it so good.
As someone who hasn't played the video games or video game, would I enjoy it probably? Still?
Yes, because I didn't really play the video game.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I only got like a couple hours into it. And so, but now I want to go back and finish it. But what I saw in the first episode pretty much covers what I played.
Cool.
So as someone who played the game, like at least the opening, and then watched it, I was like, holy shit, this is really, really good because it's like a good combination of keeping true to the source while also doing something original.
I really like Pedro Pascal, so I'd probably watch.
He was amazing.
I bet.
He was amazing. No, it was a very well done show. The way I thought of it, as for someone who didn't play the games, think of it, this is like The Walking Dead with like The Walking Dead intensity, but the zombies in it are like the zombies in World War Z, where they're like sprinting and they're just freaking wild. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
There were a
World
couple
War Z
scenes.
is underrated.
Yeah, it's super good. There were a couple scenes that gave me the chills, like just because it was like that. Wow, this is fucking scary.
Nice.
It was good. I
saw the trailer shot of the zombie with like the big booby eyes.
the clicker with it's a fungus.
Oh,
And so it's like, yeah, it's a fungus. That's what the virus is. And so that's why it looks like that. And it's I think in the games they're called clickers. Those ones, the ones that look like that, they're called clickers. Yeah, it's a very good show. I'm really excited to continue it. I think it's one of the best. It might be the best video game adaptation.
Wow. I mean,
but what
at the end of the day, the standards are pretty low. Yeah. Well, speaking of TV shows, I have begun pursuing my only New Year's resolution, which is to watch more television because I never watch TV and I am so behind on every TV show ever. So I have like Andor on my list, Mandalorian, I have all the MCU shows. I have Clone Wars on my list. We'll see. I tried it once. And,
okay.
You know
what? I'm going to text you right now. I'm going
to
send you
of like
a
important
list
episodes
of the essential Clone Wars episodes because you don't need to watch every single.
Yeah, I've heard like all of the last season though was like incredible.
it's going to get to a point where you're going to be watching every episode.
Cool.
But at the beginning,
Kenobi is on my list as well. And I that one's I've heard mixed things, but I still want to watch it for
you should definitely watch it. I just it was a little disappointing.
But I started Loki. I got an episode and a half into it. Super okay, but I am going to finish it. Honestly, dude, I think Tom Hiddleston I think the biggest reason I don't like it, I don't think he's, maybe it's not him, but I don't think Loki and or Tom Hiddleston are good enough to be the main focus of something. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of get what you mean. That's how I felt with Black Widow.
I agree, but I think Black Widow had the potential to be like way more interesting. Because I think,
but she
personally, I enjoy, like, I find her more interesting and better than Loki. And like, if that movie were done better, I would have cared more. But like, I just don't think, I don't know. First of all, like, there's this like Loki renaissance where everyone's like, no, we like Loki now. But I'm just like, that's great, but he's also still a piece of shit and killed a bunch of people.
I've always liked Loki, but I've liked him as a villain.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think he's less interesting as a good guy. And so I don't know if it's Tom Hiddleston, and it's just like, this is like the most screen time we've really gotten with him, I guess, alone, if that makes sense. But I just was not impressed. I wasn't bored, but I was just like, oh, all right, this is okay. Owen Wilson is playing Owen Wilson again. That's wild. Wow. Yeah. And thanks for the list. Did you just have that on deck, that Clone Wars list?
Yep.
You have it memorized? You just type it?
No, I have that in my notes. I send that to people all the time when I tell them to watch the Clone Wars, and they're like, oh, I tried, it's just for kids. And I'm like, well, you got to watch the right episodes, and then I'll send them the list.
That's amazing. Oh!
And it's a list that I made myself. Like, I went down the episodes, and I was like, all right, which episode is important? That's
amazing. I think you and I, last episode, I had some friends in town, and I don't know if you and I have talked about this personally, but I showed them 3 great movies while they were here that they had not seen.
You did tell me about that.
Yeah, I showed them Barbarian, which they loved. Nice. I showed them Baby Driver, which they loved, and then I showed them Jaws, which they had not seen.
I can't believe they hadn't seen that.
It's just so amazing, and it was the first time I watched the 4K disc because I bought it like a month or 2 ago. Dude, it is one of the best 4Ks I have ever seen. It looks amazing.
Really?
Oh my god, it looks like it was shot now. Like, sincerely, it looks phenomenal. But what's fascinating, I watched a little bit of like the special features on the Blu-ray or something like that, and I didn't realize how much money and effort went into 4K restorations. For Jaws, they went frame by frame, which is 24 frames per second, and cleaned each frame up. And it can cost, at minimum, $500,000 to restore a movie to 4K. That's not including audio. Yeah, I was like, holy shit. I'm never going to complain about spending $25 on a 4K ever again. Like, right. I mean, I'm grateful, but like, dude, going frame by frame and fixing all of the little, because they got the actual 35 millimeter film that it was shot on.
Right.
From the, Universal Archives or whatever you want to call it. So it's just so crazy how that's done. I'm grateful to live in a time that we can watch one of the best movies ever made in 4K.
Do they just go in frame by frame and like polish it?
I don't know how the technology works, but for Jaws at least, they personally had to go because the film is old, so like
it's
the
grainy.
Film, and so they have to. It's gotten scratched up over the years after moving warehouses or whatever, and so it's not that film grain is a problem, but there's a scratch on this one frame of film. It's like, okay, I gotta go clean that up, and then I gotta find the next shot and blend those two together so you don't notice that this thing is missing and this and this and this and do the colors. And it's just like, oh my God, for every frame, 24 frames a second. They said that they would spend 3 to 4 hours on one frame. And it's just like, oh my God, dude. Like, it'll take you a week to get 1 second of footage. It's crazy. Oh my God. But anyway, it looks
unbelievable.
Amazing. You've got to watch it. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'll definitely get it.
Or
should we?
What?
Should we hop into the episode now?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't think I have any movie news. No, I don't think I do. Oh! No. I thought I had some. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we're getting into it now. So I'll say this episode, like I've said, we've done this before. So this is our second time doing this, and this is not going to be our last time. This episode, we did another one where I watched a movie I had not seen that Parker told me to watch, and then Parker watched a movie that he had never seen that I told him to watch. I watched upon Parker's request, Tick, Tick, Boom on Netflix, directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, starring Andrew Garfield. And then I told, and then go ahead, Parker. I told you to watch.
Broen told me to watch the 1986 remake of The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum, directed by David Cronenberg.
Hell yeah. Because you would watch the original from the 50s, but not the 80s one.
Recently, too. Like, I watched it for the first time in August. So, you know, keeping that kind of fresh in my mind, this was super, super cool to watch. Which one do you want to go over first?
Let's flip a coin. Do you have a coin?
I have a coin flipping app. Oh, wait, hold on. Hey, Siri. Wait, what's heads?
I'll be heads with Tick, Tick, Boom. You can be tails with The Fly.
Siri, flip a coin. Heads. So Tick, Tick, Boom is first.
All right. Tick, Tick, Boom. Okay. So I will say that as someone who did theater in high school and has been in musical theater, the fact that I had not seen this movie, I don't have an excuse. I was stupid. I just haven't watched it yet.
You know what? I will get, you had a busy year last year, and even though it came out in November 2021.
But I had opportunities. I had opportunities to watch it, and I just
I'm trying to make you look better, and you're just like, nah, I'm a fuckhead. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, sometimes with musicals, sometimes with musicals, I really have to be in the mood to watch it. And
yeah. I agree. Yeah. I can for sure see that. And it's also it did okay, but like it's not like a movie that people were talking about for months and months and months and months. So I mean, after a while, it was a movie that a lot of my friends were talking about because I did that kind of stuff in high school. And so everyone's like, bro, you got to watch this movie. It's so good. It's so great. I finally watched it, and I will say it was great. Oh, yes.
It was great. Yes.
I loved it. Because you haven't told me. We haven't talked about how we feel about these movies to each other yet. So I'm glad you liked it.
No, I did. I really enjoyed it. One thing that stood out to me, and I think this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is Lin-Manuel Miranda's first movie, like directorial debut for a movie, because he usually just does he usually just writes music for like Disney movies like Moana.
Correct.
Or Encanto. I think he wrote the music for Encanto.
He did. In the Heights came out, I want to say 2020, but I think he was like a producer. But I think he did the music or something. But he didn't direct it.
He didn't direct it.
So this was his first film that he directed.
And it was very theater.
Oh, of course.
Very theater like. And that's what I liked about it, but also at times not that I thought it was too much. There were so many times with like the characters that I was like, it was taking me back to my theater days, and I was like, oh.
That's my mom. Sorry. Dude, what if I just like watch my mom get like strangled? Some guy's like, come here. And she's just like, no.
Oh, God. Anyway. There were times with the characters, just the way the characters were, that it reminded me of my days in theater, and I was like, oh, I don't miss those people.
Yeah, dude, I was actually talking to someone at work about my manager the other day. Was like, you had to be a theater kid. I was like, you know what? No, like I went to a theater camp once, but I was not a theater kid. There's no way
I went to theater camp.
Yeah, but I was like, super young, like 8 or 9. It's like it was not a thing. I was like, I enjoy a lot of theater, but I've never really done it in a serious, capacity. And she was like, there's just no way. So I was like, no, dude, fuck 99% of theater kids. They're all the worst. They are all so terrible.
I went to theater camp when I was 17.
Oh, well, everybody makes mistakes. What's that Hannah Montana song?
Yeah, well, it was because I was on board. I was on the board. I was vice president, and so I had to go. But don't get me wrong, I wanted to go. I had a good time. Like, I'm not they forced me to go.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing.
I don't regret doing theater. I don't regret doing theater in high school. I wish I did more than theater, because that's all I did was theater. I wish I did more than that, but I don't regret doing it. But those kind of, like, his friends, Andrew Garfield's friends in, or John's friends in the movie, I was just like, oh, I remember only being able to spend short periods of time with these people.
Yeah, dude, and that's a sign of it being really, Lin-Manuel Miranda's background in theater. He knows these people. These are real people, and most of them are theater actors. I don't know the character's name, but the actor's name is Joshua Henry. He is like the black, like, background singer kind of friend.
Yeah.
He's actually Gaston in Beauty and the Beast right now on Broadway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, there were a couple people from. I recognize some people from Hamilton in it too.
Oh yeah, so that you're talking about the diner scene, right?
Yep.
So everyone in that scene was like on Broadway at one point or another, and some of them are like Broadway legends that I didn't really know of because they're older. But like,
100% believe it. I 100% believe it.
Yeah, dude, and it's that was really cool. And unfortunately, that diner closed. But it's funny because the Moondance Diner is where Mary Jane worked in Spider-Man 2002.
That's right.
So that's kind of funny.
That's right.
But yeah, they had to rebuild the theater, or I mean, not the theater, the diner, because it shut down a couple years ago. Yeah, dude. I'm so glad you liked it. Like, what would you rate it?
I did.
Out of 10?
I think I gave it an 8 on IMDb. I'd probably give it like an 8.5, but IMDb doesn't do decibels.
Yeah.
So I wrote down some notes on just like what stood out to me, and the thing that stood out to me the most was obviously Andrew Garfield.
Oh, dude, 2021 was his year. My God, Tick, Tick, Boom, Eyes of Tammy Faye, and Spider-Man: No Way Home, all 3 incredible movies that he was in 1 year. He's amazing.
Yeah, and doing a biopic like this, not he was so in character as it. I mean, it's weird to say in character because John was a real person.
I know what you're saying,
but not once throughout his entire performance in the movie, not once was I distracted by the fact that it was Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
like
yes.
I was like, he's so into it.
Yeah.
He plays a different character in every movie. He dives so deep into character that it's not distracting that he has, one of the most familiar faces in Hollywood now. He's a very, very popular name. He was Spider-Man, the most popular Spider-Man at this point now. Spider-Man is the most popular superhero. I would say he is more popular than Superman at this point. And
probably
Andrew was. I would say so. So. Just the amount of Spider-Man movies we've gotten, like everyone, everyone knows who Superman is, but like everyone knows who Spider-Man is.
Yeah. If not at the same level,
Yeah. Yeah. So the fact that he's played one of the most famous superheroes ever, one of, if not the most famous superhero ever, I'm never watching the movie like, yeah, that's Peter Parker. That's Spider-Man.
Yes. I'm
watching it and I'm like,
agree with you.
That's John. That's John.
I fully agree with you.
He's John.
Because he's,
it was never.
This is not his first biopic, obviously. I mean, now that
No.
I'm thinking about it, he was in The Social Network. He was in Hacksaw Ridge. He was in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And now Tick, Tick, Boom. I think those are all. But, I mean, he's played 4 people that existed in real life. And each one is drastically different. And you can tell. And you're never like, oh, yeah, this feels like Spider-Man,
Yeah.
And I
it's like I'm watching Spider-Man sing right now.
Yeah, and I honestly can't say the same for Tom Holland. Every other non-Marvel Tom Holland movie I've seen, I'm like, okay, this is just Peter Parker, in theater class. Like it's nothing against
Like
him,
Uncharted.
but yeah, it's just like, oh, he's still acting like kind of a bumbling idiot, smart ass. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
Yeah.
obviously the roles are written that way, but and this is not like a I hate Tom Holland thing. It's just like he doesn't have near as much range as Andrew Garfield.
Right.
I mean, Andrew
Not yet.
Garfield is
He's still young.
one of the.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he's what, 26 or something like that.
27. Yeah.
Got to think about that. Andrew Garfield was younger than that. The Social Network, so he's always been incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, and
Oh, yeah.
it's not like a comparison. I would, in my opinion, Andrew Garfield is like one of the best actors alive right now. He is just
Agreed.
phenomenal. I mean,
Agreed.
this movie is all you need to see. I mean, he carries the weight of this real life person, and like, he got the approval by Jonathan Larson's parents. Like, they were like, okay, yes. And they were actually in the film. They were in the audience in one of the live performances. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Because they live in White Plains, which is like where I fly into. It's like 45 minutes away from here, and so that's like 45 from Manhattan. So they were shot a lot in the city, so they were in it, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, his performance was great. His struggle, throughout the entire movie of trying to think of the one song. I just thought it was so good, and okay, I'll wait to get into something, but
Okay.
another standout performance was Alexandra Shipp, who played Susan, the girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh man, dude.
Outstanding. She was outstanding.
Underrated, dude. I mean, obviously people talk about Andrew, but she was up there with him. Like, she was
so good. Yeah.
really fantastic.
She gave, one thing that stood out to me about her is that she was able to give so much emotion without saying a single word.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah,
the camera would be on her and she would have this look, and I immediately knew how she felt. And I would be worried. Like, I'd see her face and I'm like, oh no, she doesn't approve of something that John's doing, or she's scared for John right now. I was like, or, she's trying to be happy, but deep down she's not.
And that's interesting because that's definitely a directorial thing, but it couldn't have happened without her. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. She did it so well. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Honestly, like, now that you're saying this, I've never really like talked about it with anybody, but she is really fantastic. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else.
She played Storm in the newer X-Men movies, the Yelling Storm.
You're right. That's right. Yeah. Sorry, sorry for her.
She was also Ice Cube's wife in Straight Outta Compton, but she's only in like the last 30 minutes.
Haven't seen it.
You never seen Straight Outta Compton? Oh man, you gotta watch Straight Outta Compton. That's one of the best biopics ever.
Really? And he's in it? Does he play himself?
No. His son plays him.
That's fucking so cool. That's really cool.
Ice Cube's son plays Ice Cube, and in the movie, Ice Cube's son is more Ice Cube than Ice Cube is.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it now. Yeah, but anyway, back to the
so
this
Tick Tick Boom. Another I had no idea that Bradley Whitford, who played Stephen Sondheim.
Sondheim, yeah.
Sondheim. I had no idea he was in this. I love that actor. I love that guy.
I was just about to ask you. It's the guy from Get Out, the dad, right?
Get Out. Yep. And also he's from blanking on Cabin in the Woods. He's hysterical in that. He plays one of the he's one of the guys in the lab. The main, it's the two main guys that are like operating everything. He's the younger one. The older guy is the dad from Step Brothers.
Yeah. I didn't.
You've seen.
Are you sure that's him? I just rewatched that movie a couple days ago. Really?
I'm 100% positive. He has like red hair in it though.
I'll have to look up a picture. Maybe he aged a good chunk between those movies.
He did age. He did age.
I mean,
he
10 years. It was 10 years. That's fascinating. Yeah, he was Stephen Sondheim, who passed away recently, actually. But Stephen Sondheim
really.
He was responsible for some of like the most iconic Broadway soundtracks. I mean, Sweeney Todd. Yeah. He's done. I mean, and so speaking of Stephen Sondheim, do you remember the voicemail that Stephen Sondheim left for Jonathan Larson in the film? That's actually Stephen Sondheim, which is so cool.
Really? I didn't even realize that.
I forget why. And what's cool is that I think the movie came out after his passing, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm like 99% sure that's like a genuine voicemail to, I want to say Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I think they used it in the movie. Okay. Could be wrong, but I think I remember that happening, but I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, well, that's that is super cool. I thought he was great. Obviously, he's great in everything. I had no idea he was in the movie. So when I saw him at that first workshop thing, where he was presenting the musical to the couple of directors, and then there was that one director who was like, I had a problem with it. And then Steven was like, actually, I didn't have a problem with it. And then the other director was like, yeah, no, I didn't have a problem with it. What I meant was. And he kept going back and forth. I thought that was...
That's really great. Okay, so you were saying it felt very theatrical to you. Obviously not a con, but no,
not a con at all.
I wonder if that's because it's adapted from a stage play called Tick, Tick, Boom about Jonathan Larson. I wonder. I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips and it's similar. So I wonder maybe if that's why. Aside from everyone involved being a theater person,
That's what it was for me. That was the reason why, is because everyone involved was very theatrical.
That's and a lot of them are theater actors as well.
Exactly. Now my favorite song, without a doubt, both the song itself and just the performances and the scene, I thought was, oh my God, it was so good. It was Therapy. Which is the song, the breakup song, the song that they're singing during the breakup.
Dude.
Oh my God. My God.
And Alexandra Shipp, is that her name? Who plays Susan?
So good. She was, that was it for me. That was when I saw her sing, when she was performing that song, I was like, wow.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
And normally, Vanessa Hudgens kind of gets her voice kind of gets on my nerves because it's so nasally. But in this movie, I think it worked really well, especially in that song. It works so. Yes. I mean, she and Andrew in that scene. I mean, doing the performance and the puppetry stuff is just so amazing. Yeah. Dude.
Also, I just love. I honestly love Vanessa's character in this movie. I don't know why. I just feel like.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like she's that one friend.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
And I was like, that's just always supportive. And, she's like, can I hear the song now? And he's like, just wait a little bit. And then when he finally gives her the song, she's like so excited. She just has so much faith in her friend. And I'm like, I love her.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought up Therapy. I wanted to talk about it when you brought up Alexandra Shipp or whatever her name is. Yeah. But I didn't want to jump ahead because that back and forth, also cutting between the song and the argument is amazing. The editing
and fantastic. The argument was so good. I'm like, it made me realize this is my type of musical.
Yeah.
Not where it's just randomly breaking out into song, where there's that awkward pause in between real life and song, but where they implement it into the real life, where it's like they're performing the song while cutting to, it's almost like a music video.
Absolutely. And it's
so good.
I just love that the entire movie is essentially being narrated by Jonathan Larson during this workshop.
Yes.
And that's why it's so cool cutting back and forth, because he wrote Therapy back and oh dude, the shot where they hug and she feels him tapping on her. Oh,
and she's like, you're gonna turn this into a song. You're already thinking about using this in a song, aren't you? And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
fuck
done.
this.
And I was like,
oh my god.
Shit, man.
There's also that small moment during the boho days when he says the quiet part out loud. He says, by now I thought I'd have a dog, a kid, and a wife. And she looks at him like,
yes.
Oh my god, dude, amazing. Their chemistry in this movie is so good, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I agree.
Ugh.
I agree. Now,
no, sorry, go
ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna talk about his friend Michael. I don't know the actor's name, but their chemistry was also amazing as best friends, dude.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. I was wondering, because I don't think they said it in the movie. We know that he tested positive.
Yes.
Right. Remember that? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, one second. Yeah. I'm recording an episode. That's
Shut up, Mom!
Doing groceries. It wasn't Mom. It was my sister.
Dude, every time, I want you to start filming yourself every time she asks you to help with something. Like, I'm recording an episode, and you're like on the couch by yourself. Dude, just have the mic with you all the time. Yeah, dude. Were you gonna? Sorry, you were talking about Michael being diagnosed with AIDS, right? In the movie?
So he tested positive. Positive. It was a very emotional scene, and that Is This Real Life song was very well done. That was another thing that where it was like cutting back from song to real life that I thought was really, really well done. Do we know if John died before? Do we know if Michael even died, or?
I'm like 99% sure Michael's still alive. I think I Googled it at one point. I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Well, now I'm gonna look it up to make sure.
Yeah, I would look it up because I might be wrong, but I think I Googled it at one point.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just I think I was interested to know. But dude, another like almost argument. I mean that scene where Jonathan is, not complaining but venting about his problems and running out of time, and then Michael's like, you don't know what running out of time is, and then he's like, I have AIDS or whatever, and it's just like, oh my god, dude. Oh, I'm so
well amazing. and then he's like, why didn't you tell me? And then he like gives him that look, and he's like, you tried to, and I pretty much blew you off. I was like, oh shit,
dude. So sad and so real too. And then I haven't seen the movie in like a year, but I think the song "Why," where Jonathan's outside playing the piano.
Yes.
That is live.
Yes.
That audio of him singing is live, which I think is so amazing.
Hang on.
Did he pass away? Was I wrong?
Susan and Michael are not real people.
No, the names aren't real, but it's based off of his real life friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. They changed the names, I think, but they changed it in the original theater production.
Okay, well then I can't find anything.
I forgot that his real name isn't Michael. Yeah.
Okay, I can't find anything then.
But Why, the song Why, like his singing is live, and I think that's so amazing considering he didn't sing before this movie.
Right, yeah, I heard that he had to learn to sing for this movie, and I was blown away by it. It sounded really, really good, and it wasn't like over the top. Like, it was still very much Andrew Garfield singing. It was his voice.
Yeah.
You could tell, this is Andrew singing, but it was good.
And that, really and then Boho Days was also live, obviously, and that was like the first music thing they shot. And apparently Andrew was like so nervous because, I've never done this before in front of a bunch of theater people that do this 8 times a week, and it's just like, oh my god. But did you hear how he got the job? Lin-Manuel Miranda and Andrew Garfield share a massage therapist, or masseuse, whatever you want to call him. And Lin-Manuel Miranda was considering Andrew Garfield. I'm sure one because he's incredible, but also he resembles Jonathan Larson a good amount, you know.
He does. Yeah.
And so he asked the masseuse person, "Can Andrew sing?" And the masseuse was like, "Yeah, of course he can." And then the masseuse calls Andrew and was like, "You need to learn how to sing. Lin-Manuel Miranda wants you to be in his next movie." And he was like, "Okay." So he got the job because his masseuse lied, which I just think is so funny. But he was perfect. I mean, oh my God.
I do remember hearing about that, but when I first heard that story, people were saying it was his agent, not the masseuse.
Oh, interesting.
So that's funny. That's even funnier. That's even funnier that it was actually the masseuse that did that. That's funny.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm so glad. I mean, I don't think they could have picked a better actor than Andrew for this movie. No. You know, I mean, I'm really glad they didn't show his death. But did you know his story before the movie? Like, or in terms of, you know, the Rent thing and everything. I mean, because everyone knows Rent, but like not everyone knows. You know, I personally, I knew it, but like it didn't really hit me like how sad that is. Like for him to struggle for years. He never even saw it. Yeah. And it's one of the longest running shows on Broadway now, and it's just like that's so devastating that he, you know, like the night before its first preview, you know, it's just so crazy. But yeah, I thought everything was, dude, I love this movie. I'm so glad you liked it. I like that a lot of the singing is live. I like that they, even though most of the soundtrack was like obviously pre-recorded, that they made it sound more live in the movie. Love that, you know? Yes. Yeah, I thought it looked great. Like I thought like cinematography was good. It's a fantastic directorial debut from Mr. Miranda.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah. I'm glad you loved it. Yeah. Well, I mean, are you a Hamilton fan? I haven't seen it.
I liked it. I liked Hamilton. Yeah.
Did you see it live or did you watch it on Disney?
No, I watched it on Disney Plus. I didn't see it live, but I really liked it. I've only seen it once. I'll probably watch it again someday. I really liked Hamilton.
Cool. Nice. I haven't seen it, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like watching theater like not in person. You know, it's obviously not the same. But I might see it at some point. Watch it with oh shit. Blanking on her name. Watch it with your girl. Oh, Brianna. I was like, who are you talking about?
Yes. Sorry.
That's really funny.
Sorry. I'm totally spaced. If Brie, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
She's gonna. She has it on like ×2, so she won't even process because it's so fast. She gets through these episodes. That's like true. That. We went and saw Beetlejuice live recently because it was closing on the 8th of January. Dude, it was so good. It was so good. Anyway, awesome. Super random. All right. The Fly.
Okay.
You want to know what I thought?
Yes.
Thought it was amazing.
I knew you would think it was amazing, and I knew you were just I knew you were just making that face to fuck with me, because I feel like if you didn't like it, if you like genuinely didn't like it, you would just be like, okay, don't get mad at me. I'm gonna be honest here. I didn't love it.
Dude, it was, oh my God. It was, I have the, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, yeah, I watched it. I thought it was so great.
So different from the original.
Yeah, but you know,
very different.
I do like it more than the original. I gave the original a 9.5. I gave this one a 10 out of 10. I loved it.
Nice.
Dude, yes. So good. I mean, obviously,
I knew you would like it. I knew you were gonna like it because you like the Thing. Because you love the Thing so much, right?
Yeah.
And this is like in that same ballpark.
I think I need to rewatch the Thing, but I honestly might like this more.
I know. The Thing is my favorite horror movie of all time. I think The Thing is the
I
greatest
knew you
horror
wouldn't.
movie ever made.
I'd have to rewatch The Thing. But yeah, dude, this movie was good. Oh my god.
Yeah, because it's like, it's sad. You know, it's not just horrific. Like you feel for him.
Yeah.
And it's fucking sad.
You feel for him, but you also don't like him sometimes because he becomes a prick for a minute, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely he does.
You know,
but you understand that it's not really him anymore.
Of course.
You know, his aggression is just out of control.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched it on the Scream Factory Blu-ray, and they have a lot of cool special features, and one of them was like them testing the last shot of the head exploding, and it was so cool. And they tested it with so many different things, and they also tested they showed how they did the like him walking up the walls and the ceilings and stuff. And they tested it with David Cronenberg. He had like fake wings on and decided to like try it, and that it was like just a minute of footage, but it was so cool seeing him do it. And even, I mean, dude, it looks amazing. Like, even though I know what's going on, obviously the set is doing the thing. It looks so good. Like this for 86, this movie looks amazing. You know?
Yeah, and it's like it's the makeup, don't get me wrong, it's still 80s, it's very 80s makeup, but even for the 80s, it's still really, really good, and it's still scary,
it looks great.
It's still disgusting. Yeah.
Oh, dude. I mean, and I'd seen the shot of him like spitting up on the whatever, like the donut or whatever it was that he was holding that first.
Yes.
Like, that's disgusting, which was hilarious.
Or when his ear just falls off.
Yeah, I'd seen that too, but I hadn't seen the more disgusting stuff, like his fingernails coming out, and you know, whatever else. I forget what else is happening. But like, you know, the long hair.
His teeth,
out of
his
back.
teeth fall out. Yeah.
Yes, the teeth. Oh my, like, dude, just seeing this slow progression, which I think was such a good idea. I love, you know, I mean, the original's really fun and it's silly and it's campy, of course, but I think it's a way better idea having it be a progression, you know.
Yes. Every time you see him, he gets worse, and
yes. Oh my gosh. And
yeah. And Gina Davis is really good as well.
Yeah, she was like my least favorite part. I don't know why. I just didn't find her as likable in this as I do like in Beetlejuice, which I'm, you know, obviously it's a different character. But like there wasn't a ton for me in that area, but I didn't think she was bad. Like I wouldn't change anything, of course. But speaking of like the progression, I wrote down, okay, you know the scene where he wakes up and then she wakes up and she sees him and he starts out with a chair, right? Yes. And then he starts, you know, fucking, you know, doing gymnastics.
Gymnastics,
you know, yeah. I was watching that and all I could think was, we need a scene in a Spider-Man origin movie of him finding his powers like this. Because we really haven't gotten something like that. We've got Andrew, you know, skateboarding and, you know, swinging from the chains, which is sweet. It's a great moment in the movie, but like, you know, there's not much music going on, and it's just him like, holy shit, I can do this and this and this, and it's just like, just the way it's shot felt very Sam Raimi, and I just would love a Spider-Man origin where that's how he tests his powers. Like it's not this big huge thing.
Because
oh my god,
it's so random too. It's like the night after he comes out of the pod, and you know, he just gets up out of bed, sits in the chair, and without saying a word, just lifts himself up in it.
Yeah, dude.
And then just like without saying a word, without taking any breaths, he just starts flipping in the air, and he's just like, I can do that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And I love that he sees it as a miracle at first. He's like, the pod, it just cleanses you.
I've been freed. You know, it was like almost religious. You know what I mean? Like it was almost like a religious thing. Like he was cleansed, and he wasn't, you know, he wasn't, you know, contained by the flesh anymore. And like when he was telling Gina Davis essentially I want you to do this, and she was like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. He was like, you're just afraid, like you're a coward. Like he was being a real piece of shit.
Yeah, he's like, you're a fucking drag, you know that?
Yes, dude. I was like, damn, he is a shit now.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
And
I felt bad for her.
it's so crazy. It is so crazy seeing Jeff Goldblum in this movie.
Yes,
In this, like, it's such a different performance than what he usually does.
Even
you know, comparing
in,
this to like Jurassic Park,
or even I think it was before this, which was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which was 78.
Yeah, that was in the 70s. Yeah.
And so he's really young in that one, and even that, it's a very different performance. I mean, it's Jeff Goldblum, but it's like scary Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And it's and it works. Like he was a fantastic casting choice. At first, I was like, I mean, it's Jeff Goldblum, but as I watched the movie, I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is he plays this kind of geeky, nobody really knows of his existence kind of person, but also
right.
I could strangle you if I really felt like it. Like, it's scary. Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah, you know what? I love the subtlety though too at the beginning, like when he first starts changing without showing anything. Even just aside from the gymnastics scene when they're out at that diner and he is just putting scoop after scoop of sugar in his coffee. Like, and he's just not stopping, just sugar, 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 sugar. And then she's like, you want any coffee with your sugar?
Yeah, and he doesn't
he's like,
even
what?
think
I don't know
about
what you're
it.
talking about.
Yeah, he's like, whatever. And then he's like, waitress. He's like fucking smacking the table and being a dick. Oh man. Like, that's really where the movie started for me. I mean, it was obviously cool, seeing him test the stuff or whatever, but like what happens to him is like the best part of that movie. It was super sad when the monkey was inside out. That was sad. And then
I have a fun fact. There is a deleted scene, and it's a completed scene. There's no unfinished effects. There's no empty shots. It is a completed deleted scene that they took out after the screening, because even at the screening, people were like, that scene, even for this movie, that scene was too much. And what it was is after he's already infected, in fact, I think it's a new mutation that you see him as. Because it's a scene where it shows him again doing something alone in the lab, and he looks different. I think it might be a new mutation that's not in the movie, but it's not like super different. But he's obviously like a little more gross. He's kind of hunchbacked, and what he does is he puts a cat in one pod, because you know how by the end of the movie he has 3 pods. Yeah. So it shows him put a cat in one pod and then put a baboon in the other pod. And then it comes out as a cat monkey hybrid. And then he beats it to death. He beats it to death with like a crowbar or something. And you can look it up on YouTube. It's a completed
actually,
scene on YouTube.
It's on the Blu-ray. I saw the title, but I was like, I just want to watch, some other
like
stuff.
cat monkey scene.
Literally, that's like what it's in the deleted scenes area. And
no, I know. It's a very famous deleted scene because it's such a disturbing and just kind of like, what's the point of this? Like, it's so gross and like,
deleted
even though he's a
reason,
monster. Yeah, the reason why they deleted it is because the screen test audience was like, even though he's a monster, we feel, and even though that cat monkey is a monster, we feel like there's no redeeming qualities after watching him beat that to death.
Yeah, create this thing just to beat the fucking shit out of it. Yeah.
They're like, we're not really rooting for him anymore. We don't really want him to, like, we didn't really feel sad when he died at the end of the movie because he was already kind of a monster.
Brianna actually cried watching this. We watched it and she cried because of the last scene where he like puts the gun to his head. That's sad.
Oh yes, that's right.
That's not even.
God.
I mean, and that's not even. What's funny is that that's not even Jeff Goldblum. It's just like an animatronic, which is just nuts. I would assume so.
But but thinking like and
he's in there. Yeah.
It is really sad, just
dude.
No, obviously not saying a word because he can't speak, and he just grabs the barrel and just puts it on it. Oh, and then it just ends. She blows his head off, and then it just ends, and then credits.
Have you seen the alternate ending? Of the butterfly baby?
Yes.
Oh my god, it was on the Blu-ray. I was like, what the fuck is this? It would have ruined the entire movie for me. This fucking butterfly baby, like, coming out and just like...
Yes.
And then the movie ending. Oh my god, dude. I'm so glad they cut that.
You own all of them, right?
Yeah, I got the Scream Factory set.
Watch the second one.
I will.
It's
somebody commented on my Letterboxd review. They said, hold on. Let me see what I said. I said like, in my review, I was like, I loved this. Is the second one any good or something like that? I said even better than the original. Is the sequel good? And someone said the sequel is awful, but you should still watch it to get your own preference. So
it is not awful.
You said there's like a cult following almost with it, yeah? At this point?
Yes, the sequel, it is bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not nearly as good as the first. It's not even better than the original. But for what it is, huh?
Is it David Cronenberg or no?
No.
Okay.
No. For what it is, though, I enjoyed it.
Okay. I'm sure that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'll give it a rewatch, every 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Just sit back and be like, oh yeah, this is a movie.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's fun. It has its moments.
During the I don't want to forget to tell you, during the special features I was going through, I went to like the the interviews portion, and it said interview with executive producer Mel Brooks.
Yup.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yup.
What?
And here's another fun fact. Here's another fun fact. Mel Brooks didn't want his name really attached to any of the main advertising because he didn't want people to think that it was a comedy.
Oh, interesting.
It's a horror, but so he didn't want his name everywhere because he's like, people are gonna think it's a comedy if
yeah,
they're gonna.
I mean, honestly, they probably would have assumed it was like another Young Frankenstein, like a legacy comedy sequel, because it
exactly.
Yeah. Wow, interesting.
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
And so
I was
and
blew my mind that he was a producer. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and so at the premiere, what he did, because this is just him, what he did at the premiere is he actually handed out little knickknacks and like little toys that you would get in like a vending, like one of the quarter machines. Like he just handed those out at the premiere, just like, hey, I'm attached to this movie.
That's
here
so
you go.
Funny. I love Mel Brooks.
Oh, he's great. He's great. He's like 100 years old, but still kicking it.
Oh yeah. I mean, the interview of him was like recent. Like Scream Factory did the interview, so he's older, nice. And he was in. He was in that Paws of Fury movie that came out with Michael Cera and Samuel L. Jackson that came out a couple months ago.
No, I did not know anything about that movie.
Can you believe that a 90-year-old Mel Brooks was in that fucking movie? Oh my god.
Yeah, instead of making Spaceballs 2.
Oh, dude, honestly, I think I've seen 5, Mel Brooks films. I think Spaceballs is my least favorite, believe it or not.
I love Spaceballs. Spaceballs is my favorite just because it's Star Wars.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, dude, this movie, I give it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I mean, the practical effects, the VFX still look good. Jeff Goldblum is amazing, and you know what? The score is awesome.
Really good.
Oh,
really good.
God. It's beautiful, but eerie, and it's like it's so and I think it's Howard Shore, I believe, did it. If I'm not mistaken. And dude, I'm so glad you picked this because I've been wanting to watch it for a while, but it's out of so many movies.
I know, and that's why I was like, just fucking watch it. There's one segment in the movie that honestly I can go without.
Oh, Howard Shore did Lord of the Rings. That's why I know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And The Hobbit. And Twilight. Oh, absolutely. What else has he done? Mrs. Doubtfire, Silence of the Lambs. Wow, he's done a lot of shit. Anyway, so there's one segment of the movie that you said you could live without.
I could, if they deleted it out of the movie, I think I would like the movie just a little bit more. Not that it ruins the movie for me. I'm just saying, like, I could go without it. And it's just the whole prostitute segment of him going to the bar, picking her up, taking her back.
Yeah.
I was like, I could go without this.
Yeah, it was like almost pointless until Gina Davis saw her or whatever. But I mean,
and then she's like, yeah, Gina Davis walks in, and the lady is like, who is this? And he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I live with my mother too.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. And I mean, I liked it only because like he's so fucked at this point. He's willing to bring a stranger to his home, to lure somebody to his home, just to put them in this machine as well. And like,
that's true. That is true.
You know, and obviously the scene before it could have been better and more interesting because he didn't have to go to a bar and snap somebody's arm in half just to get this woman that, you know.
Yeah.
But that was like, oh my god, like I honestly wish they would have explored that a little bit more. Like him attempting to force this random person to do this thing just because he wants to, just because he can. Like, that is scary, dude. Oh man. Anyway, yeah, I don't have a ton else to say. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Just one last thing. Did you notice that when the movie ended? Well, I said that weird. When the movie ended, the first credit went to the makeup.
Oh no, honestly, I didn't notice that.
It doesn't.
I didn't recognize
it. It doesn't say directed by David Cronenberg. It says makeup and special effects by the artist. That was the first credit, and David Cronenberg was like, "Yeah, I want your name to be the first credit of the movie," which I thought was super cool.
It's very cool, but in the beginning, it says David Cronenberg's name like 3 times. I don't know if you remember that. It's like a David Cronenberg film written and directed by David Cronenberg, and then it's like directed by David Cronenberg. It's just like, yeah, I get it. I know he did this, you know? But Mel Brooks said that they shot in Canada, and that Mel Brooks, like, somebody came to him with like, hey, we should remake The Fly. We have the rights to it. He was like, why? That's like a terrible movie. And he was like, no. It's going to be like a progression thing. And he was like, oh, that's good. And so he said that he wanted to go with David Cronenberg after somebody else brought the idea to him because he was the cheapest one since he was Canadian. Yeah.
Funny.
But yeah, dude. Oh, man. I loved it.
And you know what? You know what's crazy? Like, okay, so we have the 50s Thing movie, you know, The Thing from Another World.
Yep.
And then we have the 1982 John Carpenter's The Thing, which is way better. And then we have the original Fly from the 50s, and then we have David Cronenberg's The Fly, which is obviously better. And I know I've talked to you about this before, but I am still, why the fuck did we never get a Creature from the Black Lagoon reboot?
Oh, it'll happen. I'm sure
it's gonna happen eventually, but I'm so scared that by the time it happens, it's gonna be like over the top.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well,
and it's.
I don't know why they haven't done it, because
they were gonna in the 90s, and guess who was gonna be directed by?
Who?
John Carpenter. And you can look up the concept art, and it was really cool. And then it was like canned for some reason.
Fuck, that blows. I mean, that's honestly really fascinating because they've rebooted every other Universal monster a million times. How many Dracula movies are there? How many Frankenstein movies are there? They're redoing the Wolfman again, even though they did it 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and it's just like
awful.
It was not great. Do you know what? The effects were incredible, and Rick Baker, I think, worked on it. But the movie itself was like fine, you know.
I just don't really care for werewolf movies. You have to
that is true. I forgot about that. That's right. But you can at least acknowledge that everything werewolf related was sick. Like the transformations in that movie were great. Like the scene
American
in
Werewolf
in
in London
or whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude. You know, that it has cool moments, but overall the movie's shit. American Werewolf in London is really the only werewolf movie that I love. And I love it. I fucking love it. It is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, but it's not because it's a werewolf movie. It's just because it's a well-made movie. It just happens to be about a werewolf.
You should pick it for me since I've seen it, but I don't remember.
You still
one
haven't
thing
seen
from
it? Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember one thing from it. So it'll basically be me watching it for the first time because I was really young when I saw it. I don't remember anything.
You know, the last time back to Creature from Black Lagoon though, that's one of those movies that I've been wanting a reboot for since I saw the original when I was like 10, and I would always look up just like, is a reboot happening? When are we getting one? And it says we're supposed to get one eventually, but we were gonna get it when they were. Do you remember when they were trying to do that like shared universe with the monster movies? Like they tried to do it with like Dracula Untold, and then the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, where they were trying to build a monster universe like they were with Marvel and DC and Star Wars, and then Creature from the Black Lagoon was supposed to be one of those movies, and that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared that they're eventually going to actually do that, and then Creature from the Black Lagoon is just going to be another like Marvel type movie that's just an advertisement for the next movie.
I knew about those movies. I hadn't seen them, but I obviously knew they existed, but I didn't know that's what the goal was. But I mean, it's not very shocking.
It was called the Dark Universe.
That's fucking dumb. Everyone's doing it now. I mean, the Godzilla versus Kong universe is like 5 movies in, and they're not stopping. So it's just like I agree. I hope they don't do that. I don't think it would work. I have zero interest. We got a lot of the Frankenstein and Dracula crossovers in the 60s, and that's it. I'm good. You know, like I like those, but it wouldn't work now. I would love
the only way possible it could work is if they didn't have that in mind. If they didn't if they acted like that wasn't the plan. If they're like, yeah, these movies share a universe, but we're not going to say anything about them sharing a universe. And then we're going to make a Van Helsing movie. And next thing you know, Van Helsing has to get help from the Invisible Man to hunt down Dracula. And then he has to fight the Wolf Man.
They even redid the Invisible Man, which is good. That's a good remake. So
that's a good one because that wasn't in that shared universe. That was its own thing.
And they also did their own thing. Like it's pretty drastically different from the original.
Great. Yes, movie. And that's what I want. Except, okay, honestly, for a Creature from the Black Lagoon reboot, in all honesty, in order to make it work in today's day and age, I still think it needs to take place in between like the 50s and 80s.
Oh, honestly, an 80s centered Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I would fight for this like mostly practical effects. Because I mean...
Oh, of course. Yeah. Because that's probably another reason why they never made one, is because people don't think that the Creature from the Black Lagoon is scary anymore. And it's like, well, yeah, because you haven't made it scary. Make it scary again.
A big CGI thing 50s. Underwater...
Of course it's not scary.
A big like CG thing underwater is not scary. But... Jaws proves today, almost 50 years later, that...
Yeah.
Something being underwater that you can't see is fucking scary. 100%.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Don't make the action, because it's like no matter what you do to make the creature, like whatever you do to make the creature look a certain way, it's most likely not going to be scary. So the presence of it scary. Don't make the monster itself scary. Make the presence of it scary without actually seeing it, like in Jaws, where maybe it's just for the first half of the movie, all we see is the hand, the famous hand come up and just grab someone, yank someone down into the water.
And they could absolutely make it scarier. I mean, like this is like creepy, obviously, but they could make it spooky by today's standards,
Look up.
And Rick Baker being attached to it, maybe that would be amazing.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm gonna look up the John Carpenter concept art, and then I'll put it on the video.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now, actually. John Carpenter, Senior Carpenter. Ooh, I think I've seen that, dude. That's so good. Oh fuck, and that's from the 90s. Oh man, and you know what? Honestly, a few of the Why am I seeing pictures of James Gunn next to a Creature from the Black Lagoon? Oh, James Gunn reviews Universal rejected his Creature from the Black Lagoon remake after the success of Dawn of the Dead. Oh, that's interesting. You know what? Honestly, they could use some of the rejected lizard designs from the Amazing Spider-Man. For like some of those are spooky. Anyway, we're getting into like weird territory that has nothing to do with this episode. And
anyways, back to Andrew Garfield singing.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I fucking love Andrew Garfield. Oh God, we have got to do like a month of Andrew Garfield. We got to like pick. Well, we're gonna do the Amazing Spider-Man movies at some point, so that won't count. Oh man.
And then we could dedicate a whole episode to Hacksaw Ridge because I fucking love that movie.
Dude, we could dedicate a whole episode to most of his movies. You need to see The Eyes of Tammy Faye still, right?
Yep, I do.
Oh, maybe I'll pick that one next because he is and so is Jessica Chastain. Anyway, we need to go. But this was amazing. I'm so glad I watched The Fly. I'm so glad you finally seen Tick Tick Boom. This will be a recurring thing on this podcast. Like this is something we're gonna do regularly for sure. And you know what? I'm grateful because I've gotten two big movies out of the way. Aliens and The Fly, and you've gotten two bigger ones as well. Both Andrew Garfield movies.
Both Andrew Garfield. Yeah, both Andrew Garfield biopics.
Yeah, maybe I'll pick Tammy Faye next for just, three's the magic number, right?
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, I love you.
Love you. Bye.